I'm going to call us to order and roll call. Everybody here but Shelley. Where'd Jean go? Jean's coming. All right. A test of publication.
I saw it posted.
All right. Joni saw it. And approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
First by Tina, second by Julie, or excuse me, you're in the wrong seats. By Lori. Motion to approve? Or all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. That carries. So we're at the reorganization meeting. So we will now take a president or vote for president to take over for me. I'll accept nominations for president for the Bangor School Board.
I nominate Julie Myers.
The first for Julie. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Then I would accept a motion to close nominations and cast a unanimous ballot for Julie.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Congratulations, Julie. You may take over and you may elect your vice president.
Okay. I ask for nominations for vice president.
I'll nominate Lori Horseman.
Lori Horseman has been nominated for vice president. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? I ask for a motion to close nominations and cast a unanimous ballot for Lori Horseman for vice president.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Joni, seconded by Lisa. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations, Lori. Treasurer.
I'll nominate Joni Wilcox.
Joni Wilcox has been nominated for treasurer. Are there any other nominations? Are any other nominations? Any other nominations? I ask for a motion to close nominations and and cast a unanimous vote for Joni Wilcox for treasurer.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second. I was going to say, Joni, I don't think you can.
Motion made by Lori, seconded by Tina. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Joni. Nominations for clerk.
I'll make a motion to nominate Michelle Piskey.
Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Michelle Piskey has been nominated for clerk. I ask for a motion to close nominations and cast a unanimous vote for Michelle Piskey for clerk.
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion made by Tina, seconded by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, David. Lori, district mission, vision, and values.
Bangor School District, mission, vision, and value statement. Mission, Bangor pride, a small school building big futures. Vision, an innovative small school creating excellence through personalized learning and relationships for all. Values, student-centered, small class sizes, continuous improvement, professionalism, opportunities for all, safety, foster community, and sustainability. As a member of the Bangor School Board, I will be an active listener who is open-minded, respectful, and inquisitive. Together with one collective voice, we are committed to forward thinking while strategically prioritizing for our students, staff, and community now and into the future.
Thank you, Lori. Public comment? Thank you. Approval of minutes from April 12th, closed session and regular meeting.
Can I just note, Jean and I worked on this a little bit. There is a different setting in board docs that we're moving with this, so that's only one set of minutes versus the closed session being separate. It's all in that same document, works the same way. Board sees it ahead of time. Once approved, it becomes public. So I just wanted to note that. It looks a little different, but it's all in one. So thanks.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from April 12th for the regular and closed session.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Lori, seconded by Lisa to approve April 12th, closed session and regulars meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Student report. Gabby, come on down.
I'm going to abstain.
Are you alone tonight?
I'm abstaining from that. Yeah, she got it.
All alone tonight. Okay. Well, welcome.
Hi. So last Wednesday, we had scholarship night and NHS induction where we inducted 14 new members. Our NHS dodgeball fundraiser, we ended up raising $1,100, which all went to Children's Miracle Network. The sixth grade DC trip was last week, which Ms. Rigel was actually the advisor for. So if you have anything you want to add. Next Friday is going to be our Fine Arts Assembly where we'll recognize group awards for any extracurricular activities we have throughout the school. Senior Banquet is Sunday, May 21st, where honor students in the senior class will get cords and any other recognitions. Trap started, so the first week, the shooter of the week was Cody Peterson, and then the second and third week was Nolan Langer.
And they have 43 kids out, I asked today, for the trap club.
So on May 2nd, there was a big track meet, which we held, which 16 teams came to compete, and our boys ended up in third place. Graduation is coming up, so on Friday the 26th is graduation practice, and the 28th is actual graduation. The elementary word of the month is trustworthiness. And today, the students of the year, grades 6 through 12, went on their lunch to Chick-fil-A.
And I would like to thank Gabby and all of our student council members that have presented this year. I think it's very important that our students are here. And I know we have another student tonight as well, which I'm excited for. But Gabby, come on over. I promised some treats if you came tonight. And also a certificate for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming. You do a great job, and you've been here at so many of our meetings, and talking. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabby.
Thank you, Gabby. You've done great.
Congratulations on making it through, too.
Okay. Eagle Scout presentation.
So next, I'm really excited as well to have Nash Nagy come down. Nash did something for the school district for his Eagle Scout project, which he will be talking about. And also, I would like Nash to explain, after he's done, what his plans are after school. And there may be a connection here with somebody sitting on the board, very possibly.
I don't really know what to start with. Sorry.
That's okay. So just go ahead and explain what you have to do for your Eagle Scout project, or how you develop that.
Okay, so for your Eagle Scout project, you have to plan it, and then you have to meet with an Eagle board member to actually get it approved, and then you have to write up a plan, write up like a budget and how you're going to get all of the money, and then you have to actually execute the project, and then you have to write up how it went and things that went wrong and how you solved them. And then after that, you submit all of your paperwork along with your Eagle application to the local council, which for me is Gateway Area Council. And then after that, you get a board of review scheduled, which mine is scheduled for June 13th. So after that, I find out if I do become an Eagle. Hopefully I do, fingers crossed. So for this project, I decided that I noticed when we took the band trailer to Rotary Lights this year or last year, that there was no way to tie down anything in there, so everything was just kind of free roaming. So I decided that I would approach the music backers, Mr. Mullenberg, and the Eagle Board to get a tie-down system into the trailer. So we put E-track on the bottom and most of the way up, and we did that on both sides and the two fronts. And there is a bag for straps, and there's also 8 or 10 different actual tie-down points that you can move throughout the entire thing. So it was quite a day, I know that. I did fundraising early May of last year, and that I did a pork chop brat sale at Hanson's. And then in December, I had a bunch of people come help me, and we did the project, and we also cleaned up the trailer and like waxed it and made it look really nice.
How much money did you raise for the project?
$700, I think. And I don't think I used that much. So I am planning on presenting a check to the music backers at the spring concert.
So Nash, I have a question. So what kind of time frame when you started writing and planning and completing the project?
Well, you have until just before you turn 18 to turn everything in. I started, I think early spring of last year, I started planning everything and I got it approved, and then summer got busy, so I didn't get to do it during summer like I had originally hoped. So then I did it in December, and the actual project only took a day. But it's more like the paperwork is what takes the longest for the project, that's for sure.
Thank you.
It's easy to get busy and get it pushed out, so I commend you on finishing it.
Thank you.
And how long have you been in scouting?
Since early elementary school. I've been in Scouts since I was really young. I've worked all the way through it, and it's been fun. It really has.
Well, I hope they award it, because it's a title you'll never forget and you'll get to carry with you for a very long time.
Thank you.
What I noticed right away from some of the pictures was just the craftsmanship of how you took some really good time and put all that effort into that. And I know that's not easy. So I commend you on being very detailed and being very exact. It looks beautiful inside. And if you need to wax a car, I have one available.
Thanks.
I think it's cool that you picked that project, and I think it's something that people will use over and over and over. They may not know that you did it, but you found it, and so I think that's really great. I will appreciate it in a couple of weeks, I'm sure, when we have to use it. So I think it's very nice of you to do that back to the school. So thank you.
That's what I was going to say, Tina. I'm really appreciative that you chose a project to help our school and the students that are going here. And you recognize something that there was an issue, and you solved that problem. And that's why I think you should obviously earn your Eagle.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time as well.
And will you explain what you're doing after graduation with schooling and what your goal is, please?
Yeah. So after graduation, I think orientation starts August 21st, and my first day of school is August 28th. I am moving down to Mooresville, North Carolina, where I will be going to school at NASCAR Technical Institute.
Now I know who he's talking about.
So,
Congratulations. That's
Joni,
awesome.
would you like to share Adam's story?
Adam is my son, obviously, and he interviewed for NASCAR Technical Institute. He obviously opted to do his schooling here, but then moved to North Carolina, and he's been in the NASCAR in 2012. So he's currently on a truck team. So, yeah, I might have some connections for you.
I thought that would be pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, well, thank you, Nash. You did a
Nash,
great job.
thank you for taking the time to come to us and explaining everything so well. And everyone is right. It's a sustainable project that will be used for a long time.
I hope so.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nash. Great work.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Congrats.
time.
So selection of diploma presenters. So graduation is on Sunday, May 28th at 1:30 or 1 o'clock?
1:30.
1:30. And we usually have two people that present diplomas to our graduates on stage.
Correct.
After they receive the diploma, or do we give the diploma, we shake hands?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
The presenters do. Correct.
So, anyone interested?
Does anybody have a relative? I mean, usually let first
Yeah.
choice be.
Usually if we have a relative like a son or niece or nephew, we ask if they would like to.
I cannot. Because I
Tina?
cannot guarantee I will be back by that time, and so I am out.
I don't have anybody, but I would like to if.
Okay, sure. Okay.
I will as well, as unless somebody else wants to. I'm willing to.
Joni, you won't be back. Okay. Joni and Lisa, thank you. Perfect.
Thank you. I'll give you all the instructions you need that day.
And I think we've already signed diplomas or not? No.
We needed the new officers.
Oh.
So I will
was
get
thinking
those
I
done this
signed them.
next
That was
week.
last year. Okay, super, thank you. All right, policy, on to committee reports. Policy Review Committee.
Yeah, I have not forgotten this. I did meet with our Neola rep on 418. The month of May has been more than a little bit hectic, but I do want to schedule this meeting, and I intentionally wanted to make sure that we had the new person elected or on the board and on this committee. So we didn't talk all committee assignments, but I know there's been a little bit of talk that we'll probably leave committee assignments as is right now unless there's interest to change. The one thing that we just need to fill the one open seat on the policy review committee, and so I don't know if you want to take care
And
of that.
Kelly has agreed to take part in that committee.
I will join that.
Awesome. So I will be reaching out to that committee shortly to get that scheduled and hopefully bring those to you for the June meeting. I think there's only one new policy, so it'll be just a one reading through the vast majority of them. And then Building and Grounds Committee, trying to work around everybody's schedules, which are more than a little bit crazy. We're getting close to that 95% completion on the elementary design. So the Building and Grounds Committee is actually going to meet tonight after the meeting. Jared will be here from Nexus, and we'll be able to kind of talk through some of those things as well. So if other members are interested in hanging out and being a part of that conversation, you'd be welcome to join that as well. But that will happen tonight. And that's all I got there.
Thank you, David. District financials, financial documents.
Yeah, we did have a couple questions that I think Angie and I answered via email about a conference and about the Culver strip for the middle school, high school teachers after the trip to the Western Technical College and that type of stuff. So I think we got those answered. If there's no other questions on the financials, we'd look for approval of the financials.
I'll make a motion to approve the financials as presented.
I'll second.
Motion made by Lori, seconded by Joni to approve the financials as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. District reports, facility projects update.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep this fairly short because we are gonna spend more time after the meeting talking about on the facilities. But for our community to understand, since our last board meeting, it has been we are meeting at least weekly with Nexus and at least small teams. There's the design team meetings, the full design team meetings with the elementary team is happening every other week, but there are multiple other smaller meetings going with the electrical engineering and mechanical engineering and all of those types of pieces that we continue to have. There's been a number of those in that time. I had shared, and it's in the board docs on the presentation that was given to the village last night. It was a very short presentation, well received from the village. They've asked us if anything substantially changes for the middle school, high school from currently planned, we would come back. But otherwise, they'd like to hear on the elementary school. And I think Jerry's biggest concern for sure, or excuse me, on the old school. We'll come back on the old school to talk about that. Jerry's biggest concern by far is making sure that she has a building to do elections in 4 times next year. So we're getting that calendar and just trying to work through all of those logistics as well. She can plan for an alternative, but we want to do that. There were really no concerns about the site and civil, which is the purpose of the meeting that we presented at. I did have kind of an initial project review and logistics meeting with Todd Richter, who will be the person who takes over from Nexus when we hit the construction stage. I had that last night, and just us connecting and kind of talking through some things. We've looked at how we'll make the moves in April next year and what classes are moving where, and Mike's been involved with those conversations, what we'll have to store during the summer of '24, where we'll store it, all of those pieces as well. So that, a good logistical meeting. Part of that, the job site trailer for Nexus will be arriving in July, and going to be sitting it'll be on the elementary parking lot side, by the Coultermans, basically, kind of at the end of that driveway on the grass area, and that'll arrive in early July and will be here through fall of '24 while construction's going on. That's where a lot of their meetings will take place with the vendors, and then obviously the other side will be the contractors that are working out by the interstate there. Talk through good things like vendors will want to put big signs up with their name on them because they're right by the interstate, but limiting those to an 8x10, it will be in their contract that we're not just going to become advertising central. So good conversations there. The other part, and I'd like you to mark your calendar on that came from that, tentatively, we are looking at a groundbreaking ceremony on the morning of June 6th. What we decided is, having the conversation, it would be great June 6th, the morning of June 6th, because we would like kids there for the ceremonial groundbreaking. So we will be working on the logistics of getting, so we can do that. They'll have big renderings of the project behind them. We'll have it to that point where you can see what it's going to look like. We'll be able to have hard hats and vests and all that stuff for all of you, and some ceremonial shovels and all that type of stuff, and a pile of sand, and then we'll publicize that as well. We could do it in August, but again, it's harder to get the kids there, harder to get the community there. I think it'd be great because we'll have some retirees coming in that day for the recognition, so we can invite them to that as well. Again, we're confirming the details on that, but if you can mark your calendars, doing that while kids are still here is kind of the desired. We talked through it. I mean, this is the single largest investment in our district in history. I think we want to definitely commemorate it and celebrate it and talk a little bit about it. And doing it while the kids are there so they'll remember it, I think will be important. So that would be June 6th. Obviously, construction does not start till August sometimes, but we can do the ceremonial start of the process. The furniture buying process is in here, and again, I'll go through a little bit more in detail. We are not buying anything. We're simply getting prices at this time, and I've got good vendor response from that right now, so I'm confident we'll be able to get really good pricing and pick the furniture we want. When it comes to the buying time, we'll definitely, everybody will be included in those conversations. The IT planning has been intense for John and I just want to publicly give a shout out to John. He is, I think, pretty annoyed with me at this point in time because I've been in his office about 40 times in the last 3 days. Have you got that information yet? Have you got that information yet? Have you got that information yet? And he can't make it come any faster. He's trying to get a hold of people. But he has been great. We've been working on the phones, the cameras, and then all of that. The camera system will help decide what we do with door controls and alarms and all of those things. So tons of meetings, and we do have the proposal for the phone system on the agenda for later tonight. So just kudos to him, and a lot of work that's being done on our end to make sure everything is good there. the financial part, and I'll leave it at that then. The financial part, just want to, the final at the end of April 26th, I believe, all of the bonds have completely settled and are in their long-term money, or in their long-term places. We did pay off, or we worked on paying them down as much as we could with our the money that we had set aside for bonds this year. We worked on paying those down and then locked in those amounts to the furthest out amounts, well over $2 million less than we had originally anticipated when Brian was here in interest costs over that time, the way that it's been locked in. So that's a victory for us, and a victory for our taxpayers, absolutely in that way. That money is in the accounts with PMA and making interest, and between the two issuances, we had originally predicted that would be in about the $850,000 interest range, and right now the estimates are $1,049,000. So better than expected there. So again, the timing for us in this economy that's been a little bit questionable, we timed the loans well, and we're timing what we're making on interest well, on both sides. So that side of the financials, the big picture for the long-term debt has been a positive. Any other questions? Otherwise, like I said, we're going to be going through a lot and building her grounds afterwards tonight. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. All right, district action agenda, action item, overnight trip, field trip request for the FCCLA. It's in your packet. We've got an itinerary talking about just the process, who's going, fundraising, the itinerary of the trip, which is Saturday, July 1st through Friday, July 7th.
Yeah, I think the information's there. I mean, Rick could give you any other information that you want, but we're excited for this group. This is a first in at least quite a while, I believe, and my kudos to Miss Hooker and the work that she's done with these kids, and they're excited to go. I got big high fives the day they came back from the state competition, having qualified. So they are very excited about this trip.
So it's a FCCLA National Leadership Conference and competition.
Correct. Yeah. And
Good for them.
The last one I remember, I think Ashley King was the advisor last time we went to Nationals in Memphis, I believe it was. So extremely proud of our kids and happy for Ms. Hooker's leadership. She's brought our FCCLA program back. During COVID, everything kind of, as you know, took a dive, and so it's been a rebuilding process. And then, as you know, we didn't have a face teacher for a semester, so I mean, it's taken a little bit, but she's really got it going again, and the kids did a great job. So under her leadership, I'm excited for them.
I would move to approve the overnight field trip request for the FCCLA.
I would second that.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Lisa to approve the overnight field trip request for the FCCLA. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations, FCCLA. And then overnight field trip for the National History Day, which is a national contest as well. And their destination is the University of Maryland. And we also have some details about that trip.
And I'm excited for these kids as well. Ms. Ballrichter, would you like to speak tonight, or you don't have to?
If you have any questions, I'd be willing to answer them.
Why don't you come down and speak, because I think a couple board members have something for you as well. I think.
And Ms. Ballrichter, I think it was about a year ago, or a year and a half, that you were recognized by the state for your NHD contributions as a teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you remind us remind the board what students have qualified to?
So we have Carson Silla here, and his partner, it was Brandon Gady, and both of them they put together a website on the assembly line, so that is their project. And then Autumn Holter, and she did a paper and focused on kind of Hollywood Perceptions of the Wild West. The theme this year is frontiers in history, so they had to pick out a topic that showed a change or people trying to do something new, pretty much. So, and they made it through our local contest, which was here, and then they went on to the regional contest at UWL, and then they went to the state contest at UW-Madison, and now they're going to the national contest, which is an incredible accomplishment to make it that far.
Has that ever happened here, national?
I believe Cassidy Winch
Okay,
went, but that's been, she's been out of school for
yep.
quite a few years.
We have had a couple in the last couple of years qualify for nationals, but they've been doing it virtually.
Oh, sure.
You didn't get to go, but their projects did get sent. So we had a performance and an exhibit that went in the past couple of years. But,
Well, you are going to be right by our nation's capital. I've been to the University of Maryland for an OM competition, and you are right there. So
we
take
plan to go
advantage of
and,
that.
do some sightseeing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I will say I enjoyed having discussions with Autumn about her topic. We talked about John Wayne and Hollywood perceptions and things with the Wild West, and she's very insightful.
Yeah.
If you'd like to read something very insightful, definitely read her paper.
Congratulations to all of you. It's wonderful. Any
I had
questions?
promised Carson a check, and as David said, they would be here tonight, so I thought I would just give it to you. And I think
I have one too.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. And we've been getting a lot of donations from the community. So community, like in general, we're extremely grateful for all the support we've been getting financially on that. So
And when are you going? Oh, in June, 10th through the 16th. Okay. Sorry, Lori.
So while she comes up, I'm going to make a motion to approve the trip to Maryland with the NHD projects, and best of luck to all of you.
Second. Sorry,
Tina?
Jody. Congratulations. I'll second it.
Motion made by Lori, seconded by Tina to approve the overnight field trip request for the National History Day National Contest at the University of Maryland. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thanks, you guys, for being here.
Congratulations. Thank you.
All right, moving on to 2023-2024 health insurance renewal.
So as a board, we've just talked about this a little bit in closed session as part of our total package for next year, total negotiations process. Our insurance renewal came in this year initially at 9.5% to keep insurance as is. We were able to negotiate a little bit and get that insurance renewal down to 7.5. We had talked with the staff last year in depth and said we need to make some changes to our plan so that we have a more affordable and more sustainable plan that's not growing at the rate that it was growing at last year, which was like 18% to start last year. So we've made some improvements in that area, especially when we compare ourselves to the increases that some of our other districts in the area have seen. But we need to make another change to continue to make progress towards being able to sustain and have a hopefully zero increase at some point in time, or it would be great to actually see the costs start to go down a little bit on that. To do that, I think the number one thing that we need to look at is the providers that we use. The Mayo Clinic system versus the Gunderson Clinic system. The Mayo system is more expensive, and we don't get the same discount with that service. We have talked to our employees about that. We've tried to direct employees as much as possible to use Gunderson, and I think it's made some difference. About 85% of our employees do choose to go to Gunderson over Mayo. And we do have the neighborhood family clinic that many of our employees use very regularly and do a great job with. This change to insurance drops the increase to 5.5%, and will direct all of our employees to the Gunderson only within the network area, basically within the greater La Crosse area. They would still have the option to go to Mayo Rochester and be covered on some of those larger type things where Gunderson will actually refer to Mayo Rochester. It's a change that helps us, those changes save us another $20,000 or so in premiums for the impact to the district. The 5% or 5.5% increase still is a cost at roughly $4,500. So it is still, we are improving, we are paying more for the benefit for our employees, but our employees are giving up something on this as well. And I think that's important to recognize, trying to help this become a little bit more sustainable. We are optimistic the change we made last year in increasing deductibles, increasing the out-of-pocket for families did help this process this year, and we hope that this helps again and that we can come in closer to that zero next year. So if there's questions, otherwise we'd be looking for approval to approve the renewal with WCA Health Insurance with the network change to the Gunderson only network. Sorry, did you lose it?
Yeah, I will make a motion to approve the WCA employee health insurance renewal with network change at an increase of 5.5% for the 2023-2024 school year.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Lisa. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Second item, dental insurance renewal. This is staying with Delta Dental. Delta Dental has been incredibly stable for the district for a long period of time and for many different companies and school districts around the state. I think one of the things that we saw during the pandemic is people did not go to the dentist. And this past year, people went back to the dentist and had some things that they had to take care of. So in general, we've seen some increases, not just in our district, but in other districts for the premium. It is not a huge increase. It's a 4% increase in the premium. Again, this is a negotiated. They came in a little bit higher than that initially. Janice went back for us and helped improve this. But we want to continue the same Delta Dental benefit for our employees at a 4% increase to the district, roughly at a cost of about $3,000 for the district. So I'd be looking for a motion to approve that unless there are questions.
I'll make a motion to renew the employee Delta Dental insurance with a 4% increase in premium for the equivalent coverage for the 23-24 school year.
Second that.
Motion made by Lori, seconded by Tina. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Our district is not unique in the fact that it does offer some form of life insurance for employees. We have been at $15,000 benefit for a very, very long time for the district. It is not atypical to see one-time salary in that amount in a lot of school districts across the state. We did price that out and didn't feel like that was maybe all in one step, something that we wanted to do, but we did want to address that $15,000 and raise that to $25,000. To do this for our employees, it's a cost to the district of about $600, and just with the cost of final expenses, and you hate to talk about that. Going from 15,000 to 25,000 is a advantage for our employees. So looking at a cost of $600 to improve that, or to increase that amount and continue with Kansas City Life.
If there are no questions, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Joni can have it.
Okay, motion made by Tina, seconded by Joni. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks.
All right. We are looking at a purchase. So, a little bit further down the agenda, the next item down, we're looking at carpet replacement and continuing that process that we've been doing. As part of that, the high school writing lab at the end of this hallway is similar to the computer lab that we put new carpet in last year, that it's got built-in casework that used to be for desktop computers. We obviously don't need that for desktop computers anymore. And last year, what we did was we took all of that out, just put carpet in, and bought some simple tables and chairs so that we have flexibility in how we use that space. We are hoping to address that carpet this year. We would like to do the same thing instead of carpeting around some older items and then just buy some furniture. We did kind of think about this at the last minute. I'll own that. Last year we had said $6,000 and $6,000, not to exceed $6,000, and that more than covered the new furniture. We will use the same vendor, the same items that we bought last summer, and just roll those forward unless there's a huge increase in cost. I do not anticipate it being the full $6,500, but just looking for approval or for up to $6,500 for new furniture for that room.
When you say new furniture, you mean like table, chairs, or are you
Tables
Okay.
and chairs. That's basically what we're looking at. And we may, depending on how things go, we may get one or two more cabinets from that would go in the room we did last year. But it's that type of thing. So, yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of new furniture for the high school writing lab not to exceed $6,500.
Second.
Motion made by Lori, seconded by Tina. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Yeah, and I apologize. I was gonna share all of these purchases. So the furniture, the carpet that I'm bringing forward, the interactive display, the backup server, and the digital phones are all coming out of end of year budget and in a good place with those things. So just being clear on that, it's coming out of this year's budget. The next item is the purchase and installation of the middle school, high school carpet. So this has been, I believe, about a 3 or 4 year process. The carpets throughout this building and a lot of the classrooms were original to the 97 construction and have definitely lived their life. Instead of replacing everything at once, this is one of the things in that strategic kind of that 5-year plan is taking a few each year. We are down to the rooms listed here. So the writing lab, the iPad coordinator's office, the guidance office, principal's office, conference room, district office, the boardroom, the prep room. We did all of our classrooms first, and this is kind of what's left at the end. We've used the same vendor throughout this process, and we've got the original bids all the way back to when we started this process about 4 years ago. The carpet has increased slightly, but his cost, the installation cost, has really maintained very stable. They bid them each year. So this is it's less than $1,000 probably than it would have been 4 years ago when we did it. And this project, this $18,146 will complete, and we will have no more of the original carpet left in this building. So that's a pretty good accomplishment over that amount of time, and we'll be able to take care of this summer out of our regular budget. So if there's questions, otherwise with no questions, we'd look for a motion to approve this contract with Tri-State Flooring.
You answered my question because I was going to ask how many more years we had
Done.
for these. So this is it.
Yep.
I'll move to approve the purchase and installation of carpet from Tri-State Flooring in the middle school, high school building at a cost of $18,146 to be installed during the summer of 2023.
I'll second.
Kelly, all right, Kelly.
Let her get in the agenda there.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
All right, and this is one of those things I've been working with John on as well. As you know, we have been purchasing, just in the 2 years that I have been here, interactive displays for the classrooms, replacing screens and projectors and screens, Promethean-type boards with projectors separate from them. That some of those were over 10 years old. We've been replacing those as we go. I think the exciting news is by the time the referendum is complete and that work is done and we start school in the fall of 2024, we will have 100% of these replaced throughout the whole district, and all of them will be less than 3 years old. So that's an exciting thing. This summer, we feel like it is important to continue to move towards this. So we have 6 that we are going to put in the elementary school and 6 that we will put in the middle school, high school, for a total of 12 new boards. The price on those have remained stable in the 2 years that we've been purchasing them, which is outstanding. So I have a price not to exceed $25,000, and it's slightly less than that if you look at the proposal to purchase 12 more of these boards. And then I did go into kind of more detail into that how we will transition them around. We're trying not to move them more than we need to during the construction process, but at the end of the construction process, when we start school in fall of 24, every one of our spaces will have one of these new boards. So that'll be great. We will, there's 14 more to buy. So 10 will go in the 10 new classrooms in April. Or in March, when they're finishing up, we will install them. So when those teachers move, they're just going to move right into a room with it. We will then jockey some of them that are in the space that's going to get remodeled, and we'll have to purchase 4 more, and that will include all of our new spaces as well. So we'll have one in our weight room. We'll have one in the studio room where the weight room is now. We'll have one in tech ed. We'll have one in all of those places that we're adding as well. So a total of 14 more after this that will all come out of referendum dollars.
Oh, so those aren't next year's budget, those are out of referendum.
Mm-hmm.
So you may have said this, David. Is this the same company that we've went with before? Okay.
Yep. Just continuing with new line products. Okay. Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve if there are no other questions.
I'll second.
Motion made by Tina, seconded by Lisa. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
As I've said, I've been busy with John. We've been spending a lot of time together. This past July, we approved the purchase of a new server. We are working with Skyward, and they're coming in once a month and helping us really build our network so it is more secure. And they put that new server in. We repurposed the middle school, high school, and moved it to the elementary to use it a little bit longer. This will replace that one that we had repurposed at that point in time, and it is the next logical step there. It is basically identical to, same specs as the one that we had put in July, and came in $812 less than the one that we purchased in July. So the technology prices are improving a little bit in that area. So
did you say 800 and what?
$812 less is right there in the public content there as well. So a total cost to the district of $6,829. John and I have talked a lot between these upgrades, some switch upgrades, some wireless router upgrades, and the work that we're going to do through the referendum. The boards, we're really feeling really good about our infrastructure and making sure that we've got great technology for kids to use on a daily basis, and for our staff that they can depend on. So exciting, and this is just another step in moving towards that system.
It's just a server for the or it's housed at the elementary school for everything else.
It's housed at the elementary school. There's redundancy here. So it's a backup, and it's housed at a different school in case there was an emergency at one school. We would still have one at the other school. So they're both doing the same thing, but the redundancy is important for our security.
So this is the backup.
This is the backup, yep.
David, does this come out of referendum dollars, or is this end of year dollars?
This is end of year.
End
Yep.
of year? Okay.
Yep. Like I said, everything here is end of year.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the elementary backup server from Skyward at a cost of $6,829.88.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Lori, seconded by Tina. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
I should be more consistent on whether I'm going to put not to exceed or whether I'm rounding or not. The final item in the action items is the purchase of the new phone system, and this would be a good conversation with if you have questions here for John as well. The new phone system has been identified in our 5-year tech plan, as I understand it, for 6+ years. So we continue to talk about the need for it. Our existing phone system throughout the district is 27 years old, and it is obsolete. We couldn't buy a new phone to go onto the system if we wanted to, unless we were going on eBay and trying to buy a used one. And I don't think that's what we want to put in our brand new classrooms that we are building right now. So this is something that in the facility study was identified. It is not in the scope of the referendum project, but obviously having it timed so that we have the right system in place when this project as this project is finishing is important. So we've talked a lot about the timing of this installation. And that's spelled out in there. When John and I talked again yet today, and he'd had more conversations, we may actually be able to do the entire district right now, and then just basically unplug phones and plug in new ones as we go, so that we don't have to operate on 2 systems for next year. So what I had spelled out changed at about 2:30 this afternoon when he and I had a conversation. The good news is in our 5-year plan, we've been budgeting about $80,000 for a phone system. I did look at the initial FIMSUM from Nexus, and they said for a district our size, we should think about $170,000 for a new phone system. So I feel like coming in at $32,000 is a win for us on our budget and from the original kind of FIMSUM numbers that were given there as well. You'll see in the proposal, there was a lot of conversations, and this was the meeting. Do we do a cloud-hosted service where we don't have any equipment, or they basically allow us to use the equipment for free as long as we're paying for their service? Or do we buy our own equipment and then we pay our monthly connection fee? We look at it. We did get one, I believe it's the Lynx system, at $930 a month, which is about what we pay in a phone bill right now. Over a 5-year period of time, that's close to $55,000. Over a 5-year period of time, even if our phone bill to connect to the network on this is $400 a month, which we don't anticipate it being that high. In 5 years, we would break even and we would have our own system in place. The most expensive component of this system, once it's installed and operational, is about $3,000. So for us to replace that main head, if something were to go bad, is not a huge expenditure. Each phone is about $150 in the classroom. Again, not a huge expense if we have to start replacing a few as we go. So we feel like owning our own equipment, being able to service it, is a better financial option for us, and we actually hope to cut our monthly expenses for phone services at least in half, and I think we'll be able to do at least in half, if not better than that, because again, we're paying about $900 a month right now for all of the lines that come into, all of the copper lines that come into the district. That's what I keep going back to John for, because we haven't got an absolute answer, but we have been assured that it will be less than that. I'm very confident in that as well, just based on the research that we've been doing on this. So we are excited about this. Again, I think it's a great place. We did actually get two exact systems bid by two different companies. Skyward came in better on price, and we really have been happy with the relationship that we have with Skyward on managing all of our networks and all of those types of things, the internal servers, so that we know that that person that's here monthly right now and kind of helping us out will be able to help keep the system up and running the way that it's supposed to do. So it will be a huge upgrade for us as a district, and just functionality, connection to our PA systems, and all of those types of things. That's a long story on it, but we've had, I don't know how many meetings we've sat in on, John, and Zoom calls and all of those types of things, but I think this is going to be a great thing for our district for a long period of time. So if there's questions, hit John or I up. Otherwise, we'd be looking for the motion to approve the purchase of the voice over IP phone system from Skyward.
So your monthly costs are explain that. It's not by line.
So, yeah, we had, how many lines come into the district right now, John? We have 6 lines come in, and we actually pay per line on those, and then there's long distance fees and all of those types of things that go on. So we'll still have to have some type of long distance type coverage, but all of the internal calls are all managed by this. And then our connection, instead of being a copper phone line, is to the internet. So it's through the internet. So it's just connecting to that and then paying for a minimal amount of long distance calls. Anything we make local would be, those types of connections. So the connection fee is going to be minimal. If we think about it from our cell phones, we're buying our cell phone and we already have the network to connect to. So now you're just paying for the actual user, the time that you're using the fees. So that's why we're able to reduce that monthly expense with owning this system.
So if the internet goes down, does every phone line go down?
The outgoing calls may go down, but the internal would still work as long as the network is up and we still have power internally. We'll also have that will be the same for our cell phones as well, won't it? Yeah. Yep. With this, you'll see the soft clients. So we'll actually be able to set up that we have 10 licenses. Administrative team, I'm sure, will have their phones, so that when we'll have an app on our phone that basically makes our phone our office phone number. So if we're out and about walking through the building or in an emergency situation, we can actually answer our office phone from our cell phone, and we can make a call out, and parents would see the office number, not our cell phones being called. So that's the soft client part of that as well.
So you can still, even if you can still have a call out.
Yeah.
Okay, so emergency-wise, we're good.
Yeah. Emergency-wise, I think we are in a good place. Yep.
What did you say about what else are they used for? Are they used for the PA part of it? Like, they'll connect into the PA, and that's one of the components in if you look at the actual order, one of the components is connecting. It's a third-party dialer, so it basically is dialing into our PA system. So when we push buttons, it connects to our PA system and then communicates through that. So we can do phone-to-phone, like you can page you in your office, and I can start talking to you in your office or in your classroom through your phone. You can page me back that type of way, or we can key into the whole PA system in the building. So all of that interconnectability for emergency situations is pretty important. And just for the pledge, like at the elementary school, for the kids to be able to do the pledge from their classrooms and talk over the PA and those types of things. So yeah, it's really all inclusive and a huge upgrade from what we have right now.
I'll move to approve the purchase and installation of the new phone system.
I'll second.
Motion by Joni, seconded by Lisa. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Dr. Brockup, personnel.
I'm actually going to give this right over to Mr. Mullenberg, who has done a great job this hiring season, and we still got a few more to go, but this is a great start, so thank you.
Thank you. First, I would like to welcome Kelly to the board. So thank you so much for being a member of our school board. As a person who's been here for a long time, I know the work that gets put in by our board members and the important work that it is. So in order for us to run, you guys have to, do your jobs and hold us accountable, but also be partners with us. So thank you so much. First tonight is we hired a middle high school science teacher, Morgan Beckman, or we interviewed, I should say. Hopefully we'll hire her tonight. But she is currently teaching in Onalaska at the middle school there. She's teaching 7th grade. Her background, she does have biology and life science is what we're looking for. She taught 6th grade there, and then 7th grade comes highly recommended. The committee, she was our top choice it was unanimous on our committee. We did have 13 applicants for our science position. They weren't all certified, but we interviewed 5. I feel very fortunate. I talked to 2 colleagues in the Scenic Bluffs Conference who have science openings and 0 applicants. One of them, it's been open for over 3 months. So for us to even have 13 applicants was great, and then to have good applicants as well, such as Morgan. I just think if you don't wrap them up now, it's going to be really tough as the summer goes along. So she is a UW La Crosse graduate working on her master's at Stevens Point as well. So yeah, she was unanimous with our committee by far.
I'll make a motion to approve the hire of Morgan Beckman as the middle school, high school science teacher, effective at the start of the 23-24 school year.
Second.
Motion made by Lori, seconded by Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, for middle and high school Spanish. This I was really worried about. This is a field where there's not a lot of graduates, and we only had 2 applicants, and only 1 was certified. And thank goodness, a very good candidate. Actually met her at the La Crosse Job Fair, UWL, when Dr. Brockup and I went down there and asked her that day if she would be interested in coming up for a tour. She called me. I gave her a tour of the building. We went over the classes. She applied that day, and she was our only certified applicant. We did interview both of them. She interviewed really well, and right now she is student teaching in Winona, and she also has ESOL, and she is working now with a lot of Afghan refugees, or there's another certification that goes in there, but yeah, TESOL, that's what it is, with multiple, and she did a semester in Barcelona as well, and she's from Toma originally, and she, and our first hire was from Houston, Minnesota, by the way, and I hope she's not a Vikings fan, but Kelsey is from the area, and she has a lot going for her. And like I said, to get a Spanish candidate, she did interview at La Crosse Logan after she interviewed with us. So pretty nervous about that. So for her to choose us, I feel like we're very fortunate. And once again, I talked to some of my colleagues, and they're getting 0 applicants for Spanish again. So I feel like we're fortunate to have Kelsey on board.
I'll make a motion to approve the hire of Kelsey Swanson as the middle school, high school Spanish teacher, effective at the start of the 23-24 school year.
Second.
Motion made by Lisa, seconded by Joni. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you. Middle and high school social studies, taking over for Kevin's position, Erica Lichtfuss. We did have 25 applicants here, so that was usually for social studies, pre-pandemic type things, or back in the day, as us old people like to say, we'd get about 75 or 80, but 25 is good now. So we did interview 6. I actually had 2 other ones lined up that took jobs before we could even interview. They were going really fast, and the day of, I had 2 people call me, and they said, I have other interviews, but they did interview with us. But Erica also did some time in Zambia, in Africa as well, and taught English over there. And so has a varied experience. Right now, she is long-term subbing in Kaukauna, or a daily sub. And when I called the middle school principal over there where she's at, he said, I wish we had a spot for her. And then I called West Salem Middle School where she student taught there, and who the assistant principal there is who she student taught with in social studies. And she said the same thing. We're trying to find a spot for her. So she comes very highly recommended. And so I feel fortunate that we're able to land her as well. So I really think we have 3 really good hires coming into tonight, and we'll only leave one open.
Where did we meet her?
We met her at the UW Lacrosse Job Fair again, and it was the same thing. It was, we went to the job fairs not knowing, what the results would be, but 2 out of our 3 hires so far have been from that. So we will continue to do that when we have openings for sure.
What do you have left for opening?
Business education, and a couple applicants are starting to come in, so I'm hopeful. There are 90 openings in the state.
We have 4K interviews tomorrow evening.
There's 90 openings for business education.
I contacted the
90.
three universities, and the University of Wisconsin Stout, the director there, said, I don't want to burst your bubble, but there's, I think she said 80 to 90 openings. It's actually Julie Thoyer's sister-in-law, so I tried to convince her to come here. But she's running the department at Stout, so she said, not right now.
So we do need a motion there. I know we got to get off topic.
Yep.
We need a motion.
I will make a motion to approve the hire of Erica Lichtfuss
Yes.
as middle school, high school social studies teacher effective for the 23-24 school year.
I'll second.
Motion made by Lori, seconded by Joni. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I just wanted to know what you two were giving away at the booth. I can just picture you at the booth.
We actually were standing in front of the table and stopping people as they went through so they couldn't get by. And there were times where David would have 2 and I would have 2. A lot of times they would come by in pairs with their friends.
Sure.
We just wanted to make sure that we got the Bangor message out there to everybody and let them know the good things that we had going on, and talked about our class sizes and things like that. And I can tell you that's what really got our Spanish teacher. I showed her the class sizes, and they're very, very manageable. She was student teaching in Onalaska first before Winona, and she said that they had a 7th grade class of 35 students, and her cooperating teacher said, thank God I have a student teacher. So we don't have anything like that for our Spanish program. Actually, our Spanish 8 will be the largest, probably 22, and then Spanish 1 will have 15 and 14. It's either that or go with 29, and I don't, first year Spanish, 29 doesn't make sense. So we're all right in that mid to upper teens for Spanish 1, 2, and 3. She liked the setup that we have. I will be moving her down here to where the computer lab used to be, because mostly high school classes, and then have her in that area by the library, which I think will be a lot more conducive. And that's where David said we want to put a couple cabinets in there for her as well, and there's new furniture, and she liked that, and we'll be putting a board in there. So I was, like I said, I'm just so thankful that what we have to offer, and I've been here long enough to really, I can talk forever about our district, very highly. So I don't know if I'm a salesperson, but I can speak from the heart, and I think that helps too at those at the thing that we went to, and David does a really good job. He controls the purse strings for the most part, so.
I think going to those job fairs was a great idea.
Yeah, and there were 40 different people or booths there, all the way from Los Angeles. They were signing people on the spot. When we talked to some of the candidates that came over, and I said, what do they say at Los Angeles? And a couple of them said, they told us just to sign, they have a job. So
If I remember, this was on a Friday afternoon that you guys went.
it was on
Okay.
St. Patrick's Day.
And you were worried, okay.
Yeah, we were worried they were all not show up, the students, but that's good.
Well, it paid off. Thank you very much
Yeah,
for
thanks
going.
for going.
I'm very excited of
Luck
what
of
you're
the
bringing
Irish.
here.
Yeah.
And for
It was
marketing our excellent district, because you are right, that's what it takes.
Yeah, because there are a lot of people there. So last hire, we have up for hire is Dan Rampitzreiter for high school cross country. He was our middle school cross country, but helped out Deb a lot at the high school as well. And he's got a great cross-country background. He was at Mauston. He's very passionate about the kids. I mean, he was our top-notch teacher for the area in March, as you know. And so he's a rising star for us. I'll say that outright. He really attracts kids. And I believe he'll probably have a full boys and girls program, most likely, which is not something we've had in a long time. So I think he'll take all that groundwork that Deb laid and take it up from there. So I'm excited for Dan to take over.
I'll make a motion to approve the hire of Dan Rampenstrader as the high school cross-country coach.
I'll second.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Lisa. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Administrative reports.
Short and sweet, just me tonight, with just a couple of things. I think the interesting thing as I prepared this board meeting and trying to get all the information for you guys is there's definitely 1 foot in this year and another foot in next year, and then there's another foot in a whole nother year out with some of this construction stuff going on. So it's a little bit crazy, but thanks for hanging with us as we were approving some things for next year and for this year as well. I think it's really important that we recognize it is National Teacher Appreciation Week this week, and thank you to the board for your support of our educators this week and some extra little things for them, just perks for them to thank them for the work that they do. To our educators, I say this frequently, our educators are the engine that make this thing work. So having great hires, having great people that we are putting in front of our kids is why this community, why this school is what it is and why it can represent this community so well. So just a huge shout out to every one of our educators, from our classroom teachers to our paras to our bus drivers to everybody involved that's making a difference in the lives of our kids. So thank you all for all that you do. Next week is National Transportation Week. We will give a little extra love to our bus drivers next week as well on that, and the number of folks that are helping drive vans for us and transporting kids all over the place every day. So we really appreciate them as well. And then just wanted you to know, I haven't forgotten. We have been trying real hard, the admin team and I, to kind of nail down summer schedules. And I will tell you that this team is a hardworking group and struggling to take their days off that they need to take off. And I'm worried we'll give some days away, and I'm going to be in that same boat. So we're trying to figure out how we can work in some time away and still schedule the retreat for this year on a day that we can all be there. So just know that I haven't forgotten about it, and we will look probably July, August now at this point in time. And as soon as we finish getting our things on the calendar, we'll put a doodle out there and see what we can get planned. So I think that'll be important for us moving into next year. I got nothing else on my reports.
I think if that has to wait or get moved, it should, because I think time off is very important, and I think you need that, and we're going into a very busy time. So do not feel like that, please. Yeah. I think we all here can wait, and I think personal time is very important.
I appreciate that, and I think
agree with Tina.
That's why I don't think it can happen in June. So that's what we're trying to figure out, July and August, once our kind of things roll over. So I appreciate that. Thank you. With that, we go to the consent agenda, and that's our meeting tonight.
So we have quite a few items on the consent agenda. Current openings, early graduation requests. There's some information in your packet about that. 23-24 middle high school building budget. It's also was an attachment for us. The middle high school student handbook for 23-24. The early childhood agreement for 23-24 66.0301. The 23-24 66.0301 severe IDS agreement. And then also the voluntary vision change for 23-24, the voluntary life insurance offering for the same school year. So anything that needs to be removed?
can I just ask a question on it? Sure. I know we usually talk about budget and we talk about those and we had approved them separate, but budget, I know we always look at it and it's always a breakdown and we have exact dollar amounts here, but realistically that changes and fluctuates and this is just a rough estimate, correct?
Immensely, and this was the conversation I had with both of the gentlemen. We're going into the first year of the biennium budget, so we don't know what our budget's going to be. So I said, let's try to hold as steady and not put an increase in this year, and hopefully put a better increase in next year when we have knowledge of what the budget looks like. We looked at what they've actually spent out in both buildings this year versus what they, what they had budgeted for. We are under in both, and that's why we can do some of these year-end projects that we're doing. So we really did feel that we can provide our teachers what they need. It might look a little bit different than what this projected budget is, but we feel that we can do that within the same parameters that we had set for a budget last year, or very close. I know the middle school, high school is slightly higher with some textbook type renewals and those types of things, but we did get that down. I think the initial, you were $13,000 increase, and we're down to about a $2,600 increase on that.
Yeah, and that's, tech ed, lumber has really gone up, and so for us to hold the line on that's been good. I would say I also want to commend our staff. What they budgeted for, if they didn't need it, they didn't just spend it. That's why there's money left at the end. We always give them a deadline of April 1st, and it wasn't just like a flurry of spending. So I just reassure them. I said, look, if you don't spend it, it doesn't mean that you won't have any money next year. I don't want them to be worried about that, because if they do, then they say, well, I need to spend this or you're going to cut my budget. So David and I talked about that, and he's right. It might look a little bit different, but he's reassured me that, if our teachers need things, that we'll be able to allocate, in those areas. I don't want them over budgeting either, because that doesn't make any sense. So I feel like they really held the line really well on that. So I think we're in a good spot.
I'm sorry, I don't remember saying the elementary building budget as well. I may not have listed that. Maybe I said it, I don't know.
It's in there. It looks quite a bit different this year. This has probably been one of those projects that should have happened 3 years ago, but we've had some events since then. But just trying to get a grab on how we break down what we buy and how we can be more efficient with what we purchase, whether it's subscriptions, whether it's paper possibly, whether any number of things that we're really just from a 10,000-foot view, it looks like we get duplicated on sometimes. Like, two teachers that order the same thing could get it cheaper together, or it maybe becomes a building budget as opposed to a classroom teacher budget. Those types of things David and I have sat down and really took a look at as being more efficient in that. And like I said, it's probably going to take a year or two to kind of iron it out. But I already like what I see in terms of being able to consolidate pieces that make sense to consolidate and just be smarter with how we use our money that we have. And that's, like I said, it's been something that's bothered me since day one when I got here and looked at and had to do my first budget. And, things that should probably be just purchased as a district. So curriculum-wise, and this is, Rick and I have been working on this for a couple of weeks now, and just trying to get a grab on a lot of that information about how much do subscriptions cost us annually. How can we better target those funds to just be smarter about it? It's going to take, like I said, it's going to take a little while to do that. But we have a document now that we're working off of with Angie and David to just understand kind of what and how renewals should be created and how reevaluations should be timed, and when it would make sense to do some of those things. So I feel good that those are taking shape. It's been a long time of wanting that.
I think this is a good time too for when I look at your budget as a shout out to the PTO. I think they do a lot for your building, and their fundraising efforts are amazing. So
yeah, they're amazing. They're a fun group, and I'm looking forward to the totals from the other night and to see how they did. It was a great evening for our community. When they put on a show, they really are putting on a show. $5 for a family to go to a high-quality magic show at the elementary for 45 minutes. It was $5 a family. And the number of people that came in the door and like, $5? Like, for everybody? And it was really fun. And then, of course, the cakewalks always, and I thank Dr. Brockup for helping me out. We have fun with that every year, or the last 2 years, I should say, right? Keep her right on going. And Kelly was there. Kelly was there handing, she did all the tickets and organizing and gave me a couple of looks sometime like, I don't know what we got going on. Right. But the kids just have so much fun. And, it takes a community, it takes a village, and the PTO really does a nice job of just working towards a good experience for our students and supporting our teachers, and a lot of the little things that might seem little, I guess, but they have big impacts on the kids at that point in time, and I think that that's just super. Wait till you get the Gaga ball pit out there, then we'll see how that goes.
Okay. Any other questions regarding the consent agenda? If not, I ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion made by Lori, seconded by Joni to approve the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I ask for adjourn. Right? We're good?
I think I'm going to do one thing. I just looked at the back. So we just talked about the PTO, but when you look at our financials and you see all of the donations that came in to our school, there were quite a few listed this month. So thank you to all those organizations. But I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion made by Tina, seconded by Lisa to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.